What's up, everybody? Tempest here. I've been playing Warframe for a very long time, and the thing that keeps me coming back to this game is not just the frames themselves, but all the guns. Guns upon guns upon guns upon bows and shotguns and cannons and beam weapons, and you get the point. But let's say you're a new player and you don't have a good idea which weapons to grind for or invest in. Well, in this series of videos, hopefully this will be one of many, I can help you answer that question. As you can see from this long list of primaries, I have a lot, and most of them are formatted out. And in this first video, I want to go over some of my favorite weapons, and ones I think, as a player going through Warframe, you'll be wanting to get eventually. Oh, and in case you missed the memo, as of the recording of this video, it is Warframe's 13th anniversary. And to celebrate, I'm wearing this new Sigma on this Dex Excalibur skin, which, by the time this video comes up, you probably can't get anymore. So hopefully you've been playing the game. Now, I'm currently in the simulacrum, and we're going to be shooting a bunch of guns at a bunch of Orokin dummies. And I want to start this video off by first showing what I'm currently holding. It's the Daiku Prime. In fact, it is the same Daiku Prime that I used in my Just Use Avara video, which link should be at the top of the screen right now. Now, in that video, I was using the same build you see here. And to be perfectly honest, the Daiku Prime isn't the most amazing weapon. I just used it in the Avara video because I thought it was appropriate. But the strength of this one bow surprised me. And to show you just how strong it is, I'm going to leave this damage mod in there. This is Spectral Serration. It gives you a heck of a lot of damage while you're invisible. Well, since Avara can't go invisible, why wouldn't you run this? Now, I'm also using Primary Acuity, and I'm not running any multi-shot, because it doesn't let you have multi-shot. I'm stacking a lot of crit on top of it. Galvanized Scope for extra crit chance on a headshot while you're aiming, and Vital Sense and Hammer Shot for extra crit damage. I also have a gas builds for some AoE. And for my RK, I'm using Longbow Sharp Shot. So yeah, with that same build, I'm going to fire at some dudes while I'm using Excalibur here. And Excalibur can't go invisible, so you're not going to see the full potential of this weapon. But I think after I start shooting, you're going to be surprised at how much damage this thing does. So let's go in, spawn a bunch of our Orokin battle group. I will be running the Steel Path modifier at the highest level I can, which is 210. Honestly, DE, why do you cap enemy levels of certain simulacrum layouts? Can that just not be a thing, please? Anyway, let's simulate. The AI is paused, so they're not going to be shooting at me. So let's see. Just aim. Then have a bow, and which one shall I pick? How about you? Yep, see a bunch of red numbers and some gas procs. He's dead. As long as you keep landing headshots, you'll be proccing long bow sharp shot. Let me just go ham on these guys. This heavy gunner, he's bleeding out. Left him with a sliver of health. I missed a headshot there. Yeah, but most of these guys, you can one-shot them. And if they were better grouped up, those gas procs will be killing everybody around who you shoot. Okay, after that, we can just go to more exciting weapons. Starting with the Kuva Sobek. And this is a neat automatic shotgun. I use it with a lot of frames because it has a special augment that allows it some synergies. And this one happens to be acid shells. Basically what this does is that when enemies explode on death, dealing corrosive damage. Now, I do have electricity as my valence bonus, as that helps it give it some AoE. And on top of that, I have viral damage. Now I am running Deadhead with extra range from Galvanized Acceleration. And this thing turns it into a sniper rifle, basically. Oh yeah, I'm running Prime Charge Shell for a lot of electricity damage. Okay, enough of my yapping, let's just shoot. Spawn in our dummies and start wailing on them. Yeah, I see that as the shell's coming in. Yeah, they didn't like that. Now I also have another build on my Kuva Sobek, and it is this, where instead of leaving more into electricity damage, I have magnetic strafe. This will help me get through Overguard and a bit of fire rate on top of that. And to show you how that one works, on them again. Once you get a kill going, Primary Deadhead will do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Of course, you want to be aiming for the head. And as a reminder, I'm not having any bonuses on my Excalibur. We'll see the build in a second. Just as a quick note, before we go any further, this is the build I'm running on Excalibur. I only have movement mods on it. I don't have any weapon buffs or anything like that. And plus, I am not running a companion. Now, what you're seeing is the weapon performance by itself. Oh, and these shards, they don't really do anything. Now, I am running Matarai, but the damage this gives is kind of minimal. And depending on which frame you're using, you'll be running either this or Naramon. Now, moving on from the Sobek, we have Dakota Base Assist. Base Assist, Bass Assist, I don't know how people say it, but basically, it's an infested energy cannon. And here's the build for it. You'll see something similar with another weapon I'll be showing later on. But basically, I'm running a heat bonus. I have heat, blast, viral, and radiation. And currently, this is a Deadhead build, but I also have one for primary overcharge, and I have another one for primary bulwark. See, it's mostly the same build, except in these ones I'm running Scattering Inferno instead of Blaze. I just want the Deadhead version to just one-shot as many dudes as possible. And for even more base damage, I'm running Semi-Shotgun Cannonade. This will give you a truck ton of damage, a lot of punch through, but you can't modify your fire rate, which is not as bad as it sounds because this also negates the negative from critical deceleration, giving you a lot of critical chance at the cost of fire rate, but thanks to Cannonade, that minus fire rate doesn't affect the weapon. Now to spawn back our guinea pigs. Say ah. Oh yeah, and this gun has an alt fire as to where you can do a finisher instantly on whatever enemy you're aiming at. So to be honest, I forget I even have it. And to give you an idea how strong this weapon can actually be, we're gonna shoot something bigger, like Eximus enemies. Now let's see how they handle this. And there's not much difference. There's that finisher coming into play. Load. Yeah, they didn't stand a chance. Now next up, I'll be showing the Tenno Archiplasmor. Now the build for this is pretty much the same. Right, Deadhead, Cannonade, Viral, Blaze. This time I have Magnetic as my elemental bonus. This is the weapon I mainly use with Profit Taker, because you can stack a lot of stats on it and not lose any damage. As you can see, I have Magnetic, Heat, Viral, and Radiation. So spawning back our working battle group. Take a moment to build up Deadhead. And before you know it, you're just chunking them. Also, the great thing about the Archiplasmor is that this shot ricochets off the ground, so I can still hit enemies like I just did that time. Next up on the chopping block is the Kuva Heck. And this is the puppy you bring when you need to kill that one guy real quick. As a quick reminder, if you're a new Tenno playing Warframe and don't know where to get all these mods, look it up. It's on the Warframe wiki. I'll link to it in the description below. Basically, with the Kuva Heck, you have a small magazine, but you do a truck ton of damage. This gun also has a unique trait when, if you alt fire it, you shoot 4 shots at once. Now, currently in this setup, I modded it so that it has 8 shots in the magazine. I didn't bother fully modding this. It's primed ammo stock. I also have fractalized reset. This doesn't add any damage, but on ability cast, this lets you reload super fast. And this is about the build I would recommend for general use. I also have this build that uses primary overcharge, and I'm going to showcase that in a different video. Very, very special Warframe. For now, we'll be testing this out. Now, Excalibur, I wouldn't say is an ability spam Warframe, but even with a useless arcane, as you can see, the heck has no trouble clearing these enemies out.
Oh no!
Of course, you're gonna need something bigger for you to get the idea, so let's spawn in 20 Eximus. Let's try to fire real quick. Okay, I think you get the idea. Oh, and now for the Tenno Galaxion. Now, this is one weapon I feel everyone should have in their arsenal. Not only is it a beam weapon, and most beam weapons I've used are at base pretty good, this weapon has a special mod. And it's called Photon Overcharge. Basically, it's a less good vital sense, giving you critical damage, but on a kill and assist, a killed enemy has a slight chance of dropping an energy orb, depending on how much cold status is on them. But right now, I'm not running any cold status on this gun. So basically, if you're not running cold on this, swap it out for vital sense. I have a frostbite build that showcases this. So yes, we're running cold, we're running corrosive, running magnetic, because screw overguard, and I'm running primary frostbite. So basically, as long as you're rocking cold, you get extra critical damage and extra multi-shot. And multi-shot on a beam weapon translates to just raw damage. Oh yeah, I'm also running Prime Shred not just for the fire rate, but also for the punch through. That way you can freeze just about everybody you point this gun at. It is about to get chilly.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
See, everyone's frozen, then there's not a damn thing they can do to stop you. Now, unfortunately, this weapon's going to struggle against Eximus enemies, so, and what you're seeing right now is that I already had Frostbite built up, so it's getting rid of them more easily. But normally, you're never going to run into this many Eximus enemies. It's not going to be like 20 of them all bunched up in front of you. Yeah, but as you can see, you're taking away their armor, you're freezing them in place so they can't shoot you. And because they're affected by cold, it improves your crit numbers. If you're running this weapon with like Nourish or a pet that can apply viral like the Panzer. Oh yeah, these guys would be dropping like flies. So yeah, get yourself your home patented freeze gun, and just go to town. Now, a weapon I am sure will come as no surprise to any Warframe veteran. I'm showing off the Torrid. Now, it is worth pointing out that at base, the Torrid itself is not a good weapon, but if you get its Incarnate adapter, it becomes pretty much the best weapon in the game. Hey, for those new players, if you don't know where to get Incarnate adapters, you get them from the circuit on Steel Path. There are weapons you can get early on, I would say, that are worth keeping until then, but we'll go over those another time. For now, I just want to focus on the Torrid. Basically, all Incarnate adapters give the weapon an alternate form after you charge up this meter for a bit, and then you can select from a bunch of perks. Now currently I have plus multi-shot on this. I also have projectile speed, which will actually increase the range of the incarnate form, which is a big toasty beam, by the way. And then I have extra crit chance and status chance. And here's the build for it. As you can see, I'm not running Serration. Most of my damage is coming from Merciless. I'm a little torn about, apparently this extends the chaining effect that the beam has, but I can't really confirm that. And as you can see from the stats, we got a lot of crit chance, we have a lot of crit damage, and we have over 100% status per damage tick. And because it's a beam weapon, every 1 ammo you consume is going to tick twice for damage. Oh, I'm also running Vigilante Supplies, unranked, just for the crit ups. And this weapon's going to have zero trouble mopping all these dudes up. Basically, with the Incarnate Torrid, you want to hit dudes with primary fire a few times. Meter's full. Go into Incarnate form and just squeeze the trigger. To really see the power of this weapon, we gotta test it on something bigger and chunkier. So let me spawn in the Eximus dudes. And we'll see how many this can kill in 100 shots. Yep, it kills about half of them. If I charge it up again, Incarnate form. That's a lot of damage. Oh yeah, it cleans them up. Own infested broomstick. But hey, you already knew the Torrid was good. Now I want to talk about a weapon that I feel doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and that's the Vandal. Like the Torrid, it has an Incarnate form too. And this gun is extra special because one of the Incarnate traits is, you see, not only increases base damage by 6, but also on kill you get plus 20% ammo efficiency for 5 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. And what does this mean? Well, after a kill, every 5 shots doesn't consume a shot. Basically a built-in magazine extender. I went in, put primary crux on the build, and just built it to do a lot of status. And because we're going to be firing for a very long time, it doesn't hurt to add some fire rate. And some punch through, because every automatic gun, I feel, needs some punch through. And you're going to notice I'm not running Serration on this. I'm running Galvanized Aptitude. Unless you think we're going to have a hard time killing enemies at first. Oh no, you'd be mistaken. Got the Eximus. Back in the battle group. Okay, here we go. They're not going to like it. Warning. I didn't even go through half my magazine. Okay, with those scrubs out of the way, let's spawn back in the Eximus. Yeah, this thing basically has no recoil, so you can just hold the trigger down and aim for their heads. Proper viral, all those heat procs are gonna build up, and they're just gonna slowly burn to death. Honestly, this weapon is so good by itself, you don't even need the Incarnate form. And just to show off what the Incarnate form does, let me spawn them back in. It basically turns the gun into a shotgun. As you can see, it chunks through them pretty well. In my opinion, it's not as fun as, you know, just keeping the trigger hold down while you're just spraying and praying. Yeah, like that. So if you want to get your hands on this gun, basically you farm the parts for the Vandal from invasion missions. I'm sure all the parts for the Vandal are offered in order, so I believe you have to side with the Corpus to get this gun. Once you do, invest invest in it, I can guarantee you, you too will not have any trigger discipline. Because in this gun, you don't need it. And to round this video out, we are ending things on a very powerful weapon. I am talking, of course, of the Ceto Prime. Basically, it's an auto shotgun that shoots out a disc that procs a lot of status, and you just get to wail on enemies. Oh, and one important thing to know about this gun. Basically, this thing is built in condition overload, except it's a gun. And a shotgun at that. And here's the build for it. And you're probably going to look at this and say, wait a minute, you don't have much damage on it. Well, you don't really need that much damage. And also, confusingly, I'm also running primary crux. And unless you think this build is not going to perform, I think you'd be surprised. This is the Ceto we're talking about. Spawn back in the dummies. I'm just going to show up the primary fire first. And it's this. Primary crux is keeping our magazine nice and full. Yeah, for that whole test, I did not need the full magazine. And it makes you wonder, if it's just the primary fire alone can do that, what will happen when you add the alt fire? For that, let's spawn them back in. This time I'm going to right click and shoot at the disc. They proc with a bunch of status and you can just wail on them. Oh, excuse you. Now I think we need to test this on something bigger for you to get the idea. I think you know how this goes by now. NANI?! And just because these guys have overguard, that doesn't mean that this does not work on them. Of course, the status from the disc doesn't last forever, so you want fighting a bunch of enemies, you'll have to keep reapplying it. That was 20 Eximus enemies, and I only had to reload once. Yeah, so if you can get the Ceto Prime, do it. Whenever it gets unvaulted, get it. I can guarantee you, you won't be disappointed. Now, I was going to end the video there, but as a bonus, I want to show off the Coda Synapse. Now, the way I built this weapon, because it's a beam weapon, I'm running primary acuity. And instead of leading into the viral heat I usually do for weapons, I modded the Coda Synapse or blast, with some electricity thrown on top. Basically, the build is I'm running prime rounds, thermite rounds, galvanized aptitude, hammer shot, and primary crux for all the status I can get on this gun. And I'm running rifle elementals for some punch through, and to increase the damage of blast and electricity. Basically, I turned what would be a single target weapon most of the time into an AoE monster. And to really end the video, I'm going to be showing this off. The heavy gunner, screw him. Oh. Spawn back in our ads. That was too much fun. I want to spawn these guys in again. Yep, as long as you're aiming for the head. You pop one guy, everyone beside him, they get popped too. If these guys weren't so spread out, you really see that come into play. But yeah, those were some guns I wanted to show off. Hopefully this video gave you some idea of which guns to go after. And we'll be making more of these down the line because I have a lot to go through. So until next time, Tempest out.